Escape is a 3D environmental puzzle game that instead of giving the player one straight path to follow, they are given the opportunity to solve a puzzle or move through a stage however they want. It also has elements of stealth that will keep the player on their toes and aware of their surroundings if they don't want to be caught by the guards. It takes place during World War II in Warsaw Ghetto in Poland, and you play as a young boy who is trying to escape and meet up with his family. The game will also have a dark and gritty feel to it, which is meant to give the player a sense of unease. The concept for my game was inspired by the games Limbo, Inside, and My Little Nightmares. Something that they all have in common is hand-holding with the player. In my game, I want to eliminate that element and give the player more power and choice to do what they want to solve a puzzle placed in front of them. I want this game to have replayability and give the player the need to want more when they're done playing the game. The game will play like Inside and Limbo the most, since they have it so that the camera is following the player and will sometimes zoom out to show more of the stage when needed so that the player can evaluate their surroundings and determine what they need to do so that they can move on to the next stage. The game will be made up of 5 stages, each having their own unique aspect to them. One will be mostly stealth and trying to get around guards, and the other will be mostly puzzles and trying to move past obstacles. When being confronted with a puzzle, the player needs to make the choice as to how they are going to complete it. For example, in one part of the game, the player will find a ladder to a fire escape near an abandoned apartment building and needs to figure out how to get to higher ground so that they can get to the ladder. In this situation, the player could solve it in 2 ways. By either looking for objects on the ground, like a rope and hook of some sort, and combine them so that they can hook it to the ladder and climb up, or trying to find another item to stack so that they can climb onto a nearby dumpster and try to jump to the ladder. Either way works and will bring the player to their destination. In other areas, the player will be able to jump and swing on ropes, push objects to other areas so that they can either activate an event or help them to get to higher ground. In the stealth portions of the game, where there are guards roaming around, the player will be able to pick up glass bottles and throw them so that it will create a sound and distract the guards. It'll make the guards go towards the noise and give the player a chance to escape to the next area. Guards will be set on a set path when patrolling an area. At first, they will just walk around, but if the player makes noises or if the guards almost see them, they'll start to become more suspicious and start looking under beds and in closets, which are places that the player can choose to hide in. Getting caught by a guard will cause an immediate game over and will bring the player back to the start of that section. Having each section of the game to have a different environment and unique aspect to them will keep the player from getting bored. One section requires the player to try to make their way into an apartment building, and another requires the player to move through a dark building without letting the candle they are holding burn out, which means they won't be able to run and need to duck under open windows while making sure they don't get spotted by guards. The player's main goal is to find small pieces of paper that will have numbers on it, and these numbers will be the combination to a safe that will hold a key which will open the exit so that the player can escape. These numbers will be at the end of each level, usually inside a desk or in a guard's jacket that they left out. The biggest risk I can see for my game is time. There's a lot of content that will need to be put into this game. However, with a strong team of dedicated workers, I believe it can get done in the amount of time we are given. Thank you for your time, and I hope you consider my pitch.